Hey Ed, how's it going? Thank you so much for allowing me to do this review for you. I truly do appreciate it, and I'm really excited to share with you some of the information I've gathered here that I hope will be helpful when it comes to your online marketing and your online exposure. So, the first thing we want to do is take a look at your website because we're going to be driving traffic to your website, and we want to make sure your website is very easy to navigate and quickly communicates to a potential customer what you're all about and why they should choose to do business with you instead of your competition. So while I'm here on your website, I just want to take the time to say you have a really nice looking website, and I really love the background you have going on right here. It's very artsy, which is perfect for your line of work. The other thing I noticed right when I logged onto your website was the pictures in the middle right here, they rotate every couple of seconds. And this is a very good thing because studies show us that the longer somebody stays on your site, the more likely they are to do business with you. And the fact that you have these rotating images right here, what you're doing is you're grabbing their attention right off the bat, and it's kind of entertaining for them, so they're going to stay on your site for a little longer to just look at some of these images. So just by having these rotating images, you're actually probably increasing your conversion rate on your website, which is really cool. The other thing I noticed you did with your site that a lot of photographers forget to do or don't think to do is the fact that you included categories. Now, categories are important because when somebody goes online to look up a photographer, they kind of already know exactly what type of photos they want. So if they want travel photos, if they want just photos of their state, landscape photos, stuff like that, they already have a general idea of what they want. And so if they land on your site and you don't have those categories, they're going to have to browse through all of your photos in order to find samples of what they want. However, since you already separated it into categories, all they have to do is click the button, and that's going to be exactly what they want to see. So it's really good that you did that. I also noticed that down here you included a picture of yourself and a little introduction of yourself. This is great, and again, it's something I see very few photographers do, when it can make such a big difference because people want to get to know the man behind the camera. They don't want to just like think you're some random guy on the internet who doesn't know what they're talking about. When they see a photo of you and actually see like a little biography of you right there, a little introduction to yourself, that's going to make them trust you. And in this line of business, trust is what matters. So it's kind of you're putting your friendly face right there in front of them saying, this is who I am, and this is what you're going to get if you decide to hire me. So it's really cool that you did that as well. There's a couple things that I might change on your website, nothing too big, but a few minor things. And the first is I would probably, I see you have your contact information down here. I would probably move it somewhere up here. That way people don't have to scroll down to find your contact information, because I know this is going to sound terrible and I hate to say it, but people are really lazy, and if they don't see your contact information up here, they aren't even going to bother going around looking for it. And so what you want to do is right when the site loads, boom, there's your contact information, and right at the top of the page, and they could call you or email you with any of the questions they might have. And that's a really cool photo right there, by the way. So yeah, I would consider putting your contact information up here. And I would also, I don't know if you have any social accounts like a Facebook or a Twitter. Obviously you have a LinkedIn, but if you have a Facebook or a Twitter account, I would go ahead and include those links to them right up here. So put a little Facebook link right there and a little Twitter link right there. And it would also be a good idea to include your LinkedIn account link right there too. And the reason I would do that is because that builds social proof, and you want people going to your LinkedIn page, your Facebook page, your Twitter account. You want people going there to check you out, because that kind of shows another personal side to you, that you really are a friendly guy who just wants to help out, and you're not just some mean guy sitting behind a computer screen. By having those social links up there, you're just basically saying, I want to help you guys out, and this is how you can get to know me more. And so I would definitely include those there. And if you don't have a Facebook or a Twitter account, I would highly recommend making them, because those can really cause your business to go viral through shares and retweets and stuff like that. So I would consider doing that. The other thing I would really consider doing is when somebody logs onto your website, you have about 8 seconds to build their trust. And if you don't build their trust within 8 seconds, chances are they might not do business with you. And by having your rotating images, that's one way to build trust. Another way to build trust is to include testimonials on your site. If I were you, I would talk to maybe 4 or 5 people that you've done business with in the past and collect a testimonial from them. And then what I would do is I would move this, so the category section, I would move it down a little bit so you have more space between right here. And then I would probably put 3 to 4 to 5 testimonials right here. But I wouldn't put them all to where they're showing at once. What I would do is I would have one showing at a time and have them rotating, kind of how your pictures are. And again, the only reason I would do that is just because it's going to build social proof for you and it's going to make people trust you. Because if somebody sees, well, this person was happy doing business with Ed, and there's no reason I shouldn't be. So it just kind of puts them in the right mindset to do business with you. Now, the last major change I would make is I would include some sort of email opt-in form over here on the side. And what I mean by that is people can leave their name and email address in exchange of something of value from you. So whether it's a free quote or anything that you could give them of value, maybe if you have special holiday discounts, like Christmas is coming up, if you could give them a special Christmas discount, whatever it may be, whatever you could give them of value in exchange for their name and email address. And the reason I would do this is because there's things called autoresponder programs where they store all the name and email addresses, and then whenever you want to send out an email, all you have to do is type out the email once and click send, and it's going to send that to everybody on your list. So if you have hundreds of people on your list, you just click the send button once, and it's going to send it to hundreds of people on your list, and it's going to personalize it with their name, so it looks like it's a really personalized message to them. And this is just a great marketing tool to have to stay in touch with either your customers or people that came to your website but didn't actually hire you. It's a great way to get them to think about hiring you again. So it's just, like I said, a good marketing tool to have. But other than that, your website really does look really nice. Like I said, I love how you included this section right here because that's something many people don't do. But I would just make those few small changes, and you might be surprised at how big of a how many more customers you get from just making those small changes, because it's an instant trust building factor. But what I want to do now is I actually want to head over to Google and show you some things. Okay, so Ed, we're over here on Google now, and as you can see, I've typed in the key phrase Orlando photographer. And these kind of keywords are very important because this is someone who is actively going on to Google in search of your services. So this is someone who can very likely become a customer. So as you can see over here on the right hand side, sorry about that, here on the right hand side, there's ads, and this is called Google AdWords, or Google PPC, which stands for pay per click. Now, the good thing about PPC is it can get you on the first page of Google very quickly, and sometimes even within an hour. The downside, however, is the fact that you have to pay a small fee every time your ad is clicked on. But as you can see, there's a lot of competitors. There's a lot of competitors over here on the right hand side, so that shows us that this is profitable for them, being on the first page for Orlando photography, or else they wouldn't pay every time somebody clicks on their link. So it shows us that they are making money from being on the first page of Google for Orlando photography. Now, the other way to rank on the first page of Google is through something called search engine optimization, or SEO for short. So as you can see, all these guys on the front page right here are benefiting from some sort of SEO. So they got on the front page instead of being on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or beyond. And it's really important to be on the first page because over 80% of people that perform a search don't actually get past the first page. So when somebody searches Orlando photographer, they don't even bother going to page 2, 3, 4, etc. They're just going to stay right here on the home page. So Ed, you could have the best company, you could offer the best services, you could have the best pricing, and you might even be the most ethical company out there. But unfortunately, if no one's going to see your website, they won't know about any of that. So that's why it's really important to hold rankings on the first page, because that's truly the most lucrative online real estate that you can have. Now, the good thing about SEO is the fact that there's no charge every time somebody clicks to visit your website. However, the downside is that unlike PPC, it does take a few weeks and sometimes even a few months to get on the first page, depending on how strong the competition is. So now what I want to do is I want to take you over to something called the Google Keyword Tool. And this is a tool that shows us how many searches per month a certain phrase gets. Okay, so now we're over here on the Google keyword tool, and as you can see, I've typed in the search term Orlando photographer again, and it returned to us that it says this gets searched 12,100 times per month. And then what it also did was it brought us related phrases that we could also try to get you on the first page of Google for. So we could also try to get you on the first page of Google for Orlando wedding photographer, for photographer Orlando, Florida wedding photographer, etc. And if you add all these up, I mean, that equals thousands and thousands of searches per month. So when I went back to Google and I searched Orlando photographer, I actually wasn't able to find you anywhere on the first 10 pages of Google. So within the first 100 results, I wasn't able to find your site anywhere. So this means that the traffic and the potential clients you could be getting isn't near what it currently is. So you're missing out on literally thousands of customers finding your site and potentially becoming a client of yours every single month. However, there is good news. If you do want some help with that, I can definitely do that for you, and I'd be more than happy to provide that assistance to help you get up onto page 1. And here's how I work. I offer 3, 6, and 12-month agreements, and you would be the only one in your area that I work with, so I wouldn't work with any other photographers in the Orlando area. And right now I'm actually running a special Christmas bonus. So if you sign up by Christmas, I'll actually give you 66% off your first month, and I'll create a mobile-friendly version of your website for you for free, which I usually charge $497 for. And having a mobile site's important these days because more and more people are using their mobile devices, such as their tablets and their iPhones, to access the internet, and very few people actually use their computer and laptop anymore. And so I don't know if you've tried to load your site or anybody else's site on a mobile phone, but it's kind of hard to navigate and find all the contact information. So I would go ahead and create a mobile site for you for free. And if this is something you want to get started on and you want to grow your online presence and increase your online marketing, you could go ahead and email me at Bryan, B-R-Y-A-N, at localseomanagers.com, or send me a message on LinkedIn and I will provide you with the next steps. And I'll be sending you over a "Can you endorse me" request on LinkedIn, and I would be more than happy to have your review if you were happy with the results of my work. So again, Ed, thank you so much for this opportunity. I know I had a lot of fun creating this video, and I hope it provided you with some insights on how you can better improve your online marketing. Alright, I'll talk to you later.